And so long story short, she was detained. She was already in airport jail. Hi, welcome back to the channel. It's me, your friendly neighborhood IT girl, Sierra. And I'm hungry, hold on a second. So, to start this off, this year I've had a travel friend named Carolina. We've pretty much gone everywhere together. However, immediately the chaos ensues as soon as I get off the plane because she was supposed to arrive a day before me. This is as soon as I send her a text, like I'm getting on the tarmac, they're shuttling us down to the actual airport. I shoot her a GIF just being like, hey, I'm here. And immediately I get back a text that says, call me. So I call her, and hey, it was such a bizarre conversation, very quick, but I'm initially like, hey, I'm here. I'm, super excited. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. And she's like, I'm here. I was like, oh, where are you? We can meet up. Also, I was like, that's weird because you were supposed to be here last night, but maybe her flight was delayed because when we traveled before, her flight got delayed and our flights kind of started to come in at the same time. So anyways, I just thought she was delayed and she was just in the airport. And she's like, no, I'm in the airport. I've been detained. And I was just like, what? What are you talking about? She's like, I'm in airport jail. I've been detained. And I go, where are you? And she's like, I don't know. She said they took her somewhere. She said she's in a cell somewhere. I'm just like, what? So I was like, oh, okay. Have you eaten? I don't know what my first thought is. Have you eaten? And she's like, no, I haven't eaten. I'm like, oh, I saved my food. Do you want some? I'll give it to you. And she was like, yes. So I'm like, all right, let me go find out where you are. And I'm asking everybody in this airport, you guys, literally no stone left unturned. My friend, she was detained. How can I get to her? Before I get to customs, before I cross customs, I'm like, hey, my friend, she said she got detained here at customs. How can I get there? How can I go to see her? She says she's here. And everybody's like, I don't know. She's nowhere now. She's lost. She's gone where you can't follow. I'm just like, what? Why? And basically, that was it. I couldn't go find her. So I told her, I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go to the police. I'm gonna see if there's a police station around. And I Googled a police station and there was one not that far. So I was about to go there. And then just by chance, I was like, let me just ask because maybe there's police here. I'd seen a police person wandering around, but they ran off kind of quickly. So I was like, let me just ask someone. And they were like, oh yeah, there's a police station in the airport. So you can go ask them. And I was like, cool, where is it? So I go to the police station in the airport and I asked them hey, my friend, she's been detained. How can I help her? How can I get her out? What can I do? And they're just like, nothing. Again, she is lost. Basically, they described to me the detaining area is essentially a no man's land where nobody else can go. And once you've gone there, you're just there. And it's up to whoever's detaining you to decide whether or not they want to let you out. And more than likely, they're not going to want to let you out, is basically what they said. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, that sucks. And they're just sitting there waiting. They're just awaiting their fates. So basically, we decided that I was just going to go to the hotel at that point because there was literally nothing I could do. And so I did. So here's the hotel. So now that you know what was happening while I was there, why was I there? I was there for Web Summit. So if you don't know what Web Summit is, it's basically a big tech conference and they have it in various places around the world throughout the year. So at this point in time, it was in Lisbon. It was in Lisbon, Portugal. And I was very excited to be there, very excited to see it. I'd never been to Portugal before. Also don't speak Portuguese, so that was a little bit of a problem. I always think that whenever you travel to someplace, you should really try and speak the language. If you're not fluent, that's totally fine, but you should attempt to speak the language. Unfortunately, I didn't really have enough time this year to try and learn much Portuguese, and I say much by any. I really didn't have any time to learn any. I learned one phrase, and that's basically, can you speak English? And that's what I used to get by most of the time, but I at least tried to speak the language to let people know, like, hey, I don't expect you to speak English, but if you can, that would be great. Because I can speak Spanish, not fluently, but it'll help you get by in most European countries if you can speak Spanish. So most of the time I get by with that, and I'll ask them if they could speak Spanish as well, so in Portuguese. Because the languages to me are very different. Tell me, if you who speaks Portuguese, do you feel that it's similar to Spanish? What is your feeling towards this? So where do you guys land if you can speak Portuguese? So on that first day, since Carolina was in jail and they wouldn't let me see her, they wouldn't let me go bring her food or anything, she was just like there. The police were basically told me, you kind of just gotta let it work itself out. And I was like, okay. So the most I could do was emotionally be there for her. I'm sorry, Carolina, like there was nothing I could do. There was nothing she could do. There was like, literally we all just had to wait. So I go back to the hotel, and that day was drag night 90s, 2000s bingo. So that was the first thing I did. And I made a friend while I was there who was awesome. Adrian, it was so nice to meet you, and thank you for sharing all of the cool places to go visit, because I did go visit them afterwards. But that was the first night. Another day, another trip. I'm gonna try and not be late. On day 2, Carolina was still in jail, so I lived for the both of us, and this is what I did. One of the first things I did was take a bus tour out to Sintra, and it was beautiful, you guys. So when I went to Sintra, we went to 2 different locations in Sintra, I think. Might have been 3, but I remember the names of 2, which were p.1 Palace and then Quinta da Regaleira. Quinta da Regaleira. It's hard to say. While we were there, the tour guide told us that we had to try the pasta de nata, which she said in the most complicated way I've ever heard in my life. I had no idea what she said initially, but it is so good. You guys should have it. It's like a cheese Danish kind of thing, but like if there were more, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. So a little backstory on Quinta da Regaleira. It was owned by this guy. Well, it's been owned by several people, but I think the main guy, from what our tour guide told us, had a connection to the Freemasons, which, I mean, I was like, throwback, the Freemasons? I don't think I have talked about them since like 7th grade history. It's been a while since I've heard about the Freemasons. But essentially, he was deep in it and built this whole place kind of to be a haven for the Freemasons and really bring their ideals to life. So there are these underground caves. There's 3 underground caves, or like there's a tunnel with 3 branches of caves. And part of the lore is that the Freemasons, whenever they would induct a new Freemason, they'd wait until like the full moon. It was so witchy. They'd wait till the full moon and, kind of have like a full-on moment for this induction. And the way that they would kind of test you to become one of their Freemasons would be that they'd send you into this underground tunnel connection and be like, can you find your way out in the middle of darkness? And just like send you down there, and they're just like, yeah, if you can find your way out, you can be one of us. So she told us, the tricks that they use so that you would know if you were in the right tunnel to find your way out. But I'm like, well, how bizarre, you can't be in our club unless you can find your way out of the caves, guy. It's like, what? It's the middle of the night right now. Can't we be doing something else? So I thought that was kind of funny. Okay, so that was pretty much Quinta da Regaleira. I'm still saying it wrong. Please tell me in the comments if you know how to say this properly, because I know I'm butchering it. I'm so sorry. But I'm gonna end this here because I'm editing it right now and it's a super long video. So I will see you guys next time for part 2. Bye.